Hello, this is Dinah Lane from Harwich Channel 18, and I'm very happy to be here today with Emily Milan from the Brooks Library. She always does a report, and it's great to have her here to tell us about what's going on during the pandemic. Of course, it's been a long time that the pandemic has been going on, but the library has been powering through, and it's really great to have you here, Emily. Welcome.
Thanks, Dinah. I appreciate it. It's nice to be back, even in this new format that we're all kind of adjusting to and getting used to.
Yeah.
But I'm happy to be back and give you guys a little update on what's going on at the library.
Well, that's great. So I know there have, of course, been some changes, and some people know about those, but perhaps you could just run through what's been going on and maybe some new changes that might be just occurring.
Absolutely. So the library powered through, like you said, through the summer with curbside pickup, and that went really well. For those of you who were able to visit us, you know that we had tables set up outside, and patrons could call and place holds over the phone or log into the catalog to request items. And as they became available, we would notify patrons, check out the items, bag them up, and patrons could swing by the library and pick them up outside via curbside, our curbside service. And that went really well through the summer. We really lucked out that the weather was so nice and we were able to keep those materials outside underneath that nice overhang on the parking lot side of the building. So while the drought wasn't a positive thing for everyone, it worked out in this one case. So we have to identify those silver linings where we can.
For books, it's a good thing, perhaps.
Absolutely. Books and rain don't mix well.
Don't like wet. Okay.
No. So that was a great service to be able to offer this summer. And we're going to continue offering that through the winter. We'll see how we make out as temperatures get colder and see if we have to make any changes to where that curbside service lives when those materials are outside. But we will keep that going. Curbside will be available Monday, Wednesday, and Friday throughout the winter. And then on Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, we're offering inside service. So patrons can come in and pick up their holds inside and also browse the collection that's located on the first floor. So that's access to fiction, DVDs, all of the children's materials, and a lot of those materials that lived on the second floor have been moved downstairs. So our audiobook collection, and our nonfiction DVDs, all those documentaries and informative DVD series that we have, along with a good chunk of nonfiction print materials. All of our new nonfiction print materials are downstairs on the first floor. So patrons can come in and browse those, pick things out on their own, or pick up holds, whatever however they like to request materials.
Mm-hmm. So people will have more access than they've had.
Yes.
But it will not involve seating, I'm assuming. It is not possible for people yet to come in and hang out.
Right. That's correct.
For safety reasons, of course.
Absolutely. If you look at the governor's phased reopening of libraries and museums specifically, he requested that we adopt a kind of a grab and go model. I don't think that's the exact language that's used in the phased reopening plan, but that's what we've been calling it.
Yes.
So basically what he was encouraging libraries to do was to adapt a model where patrons could come in and quickly grab materials, but then check them out and move on. So we're asking patrons to limit their visit to 30 minutes or less. We're finding that most patrons are limiting their visit to 15 minutes or less because we've been offering this inside service since the end of September, the last week of September. And in the 5 or 6 weeks it's been going, most patrons are able to accomplish what they need to accomplish in 15 minutes or less. We did remove the seating and the tables. First of all, that just gives us more room in the building to move around so patrons don't feel so crowded. If you were in the library prior to the pandemic, we had some tables that were often used that were right in the middle of the DVD section on the first floor of the library, and they kind of impede foot traffic. So we tried to alleviate some of that by removing some of the tables and seating.
I see. Okay. Good. And do you have a limit of people that you allow in at one time?
We do. There's a couple of different ways to calculate the occupancy of a building, again, based on the reopening plan put forth by the governor. So we actually went with a slightly more conservative number. Using the square footage calculation, we could have, I think it was close to 60 people in the building. And then if you I apologize, I have that backwards. Using the square footage, we could have approximately 40 to 45 people in the building, including staff. And then using the building occupancy, which is a part of any building permit that's issued by the town, that could be closer to 60 or 70. We felt like just to give people space to maintain that social distance, that going with the smaller number of the two was the best. So we are limiting to 30 patrons in the building at a time. And again, in the 5 weeks that we've been open, we haven't reached that limit. So we have never had a line develop outside as people were waiting to come in.
Okay. Well, that's good information for people to know what to expect. That's great.
Yeah.
Okay. So you also we're going to talk about Books on Wheels program, which is really a great option for people who can't get in or don't want to come in, right?
Absolutely. This is a program that is staffed and managed by a team of volunteers from the Friends of the Brooks Free Library. The Friends is a support organization that really helps the library in multiple different ways, but Books on Wheels is kind of their flagship program. It's been going on for, I think, almost 20 years now. They've kept this going, and it really has been a huge help during the pandemic. The program is intended to assist any patron who's unable to come to the library to either pick up in person inside or via curbside. So this could apply to a number of situations. A new mom who's at home with an infant and just isn't able to get out and run those types of errands, and maybe has toddlers at home and would like to have some new materials, picture books, that sort of thing, to keep the other kids occupied. Or for patrons who have health reasons or mobility issues that limit their ability to come to the library. So that program is managed by the Friends, and you can call the library to get more information about it if you're interested, and we'll pass your information along to the volunteers who run it.
Okay, and then they would get back to whomever has made the contact. Yeah. Okay.
Yes, and they do a really good job identifying what types of materials the Books on Wheels recipient is looking for, whether it's books or movies, large print or regular print. So they do a lot of that up front at the beginning when they sign you on for the service.
So they make recommendations. I mean, sometimes people could call and ask for a specific book or a specific DVD or some kind of material, but also the Friends are ready to make recommendations if they need to. That's
absolutely
great. That's yeah, wonderful.
And delivery is twice a month, so it's every 2 weeks.
And then they will come back at the end of the 2 weeks and pick up the material. Is it a 2-week thing like most of the books? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great. And then you have some groups that are virtual groups at this point, but you have some book groups, I understand.
We do. We currently have 3 book groups that are meeting virtually using the Google Meet platform, and they meet once a month. We request the materials, whatever book selection has been picked for the next month. We request the books, and we have a supply of them here, so book group members can pick up the book a month ahead of time and then meet virtually. We have an evening book group that meets the first Tuesday of the month. They typically read a mix of nonfiction and fiction.
So all 3 book groups have an eclectic choice, right? It's not like one is for history and one is for fiction, and okay.
Yeah, it's a mix, and in all of the groups, the members vote on what books they would like to read ahead of time. So they also have an opportunity to suggest titles to the group and to select which books they'll be reading each month.
So people can sign up based on their availability time-wise.
Exactly.
And have a similar experience, or probably very different experiences, but
the groups will vary a little bit.
Not limited, right?
No.
And then you also have a storytelling time with little ones, is that right?
We do. Our youth services librarian, Ann Carpenter, runs a virtual story time every Friday at 10. You do have to sign up ahead of time for both the book group and the story time, just so that we can provide you with the link to join the group virtually. So story time's every Friday at 10 a.m. And, Anne does her normal, not only does she read, but she sings and she encourages the kids to get up and dance and move. So although it's in a very different format, the process is still the same. They still have a lot of fun.
Yeah, so I just have a technical question. Are the kids able to see one another on screen, or are they just viewing her?
That depends on how the parents choose to set up their screen.
Okay.
So they have the option of just making the speaker visible, and then the children would only see Anne, or they can go to a group view where they can see the other kids that are involved.
Okay, but it's not like just the presenter is able to speak and no one else can interact. The kids can actually interact with the presenter. Okay. All right. Well, that's good to know, because kids like to do that generally. Yes. Some may not, but it seems like it's good to know ahead of time. Okay. Well, that's different, and from the way it used to be, but I would imagine it accommodates many more kids potentially too.
Yep. Absolutely. And good news, might not be canceled for snow like we've had to cancel in the past. So
that's true.
Another silver lining.
That's right. Of course. Well, we're looking for silver linings. So yes, thank you so much, Emily. Really appreciate the updates, and it's great to know the library is there and has so many things to offer, as always. So
thanks for having me, Dinah. I appreciate
again for coming on. Yep.
Good to see you.
Thank you. This is Dinah Lane from Channel 18 in Harwich. Thank you so much.